Christian's got those DIYs for us, and Christian, knowing you, it's going to be super cute and super fun. I can't wait to see what bright ideas you have for us. But first, here's what you need at home to follow along with the first DIY. 3 embroidery hoops, a 13-inch, a 10-inch, and a 7-inch, 3 strands of LED fairy lights, fishing line or ribbon, and command hanging hooks. Okay, how do we start, my friend?
Yeah, I figured for this year, it's all about getting lit, which means I'm not making you cocktails. I'm making you some DIY lighting. So the first one I was inspired by is by these sort of modern pendants. They're really quite beautiful. I think they'd be
Ooh.
amazing hanging in a corner of your home, light it up, even bedside instead of a table lamp. I mean, they're so beautiful. I feel like I might leave them up all year. So the trick to these is embroidery hoops. Now, you may not be like me. You may not be having embroidery hoops just kicking around like I do, but you can get them at craft stores. For this one, I use just the interior hoop, which doesn't have a bracket, but you can use this one too because it's going to be hidden by the ribbon. So you want 3 of those. The first step with these guys is to paint or not to paint. That is the question. So I love them in the sort of natural finish, but I would suggest doing whatever works for your decor. You can at least spray paint them. I sprayed them some antique gold. Just make sure you do it in a well-ventilated area with your safety gear. You want to make sure you're not breathing any of that in. So once they're painted and dried, the next step is getting some fairy lights. So these LED fairy lights are great. They're everywhere this year. I actually just picked up these guys on Amazon. But I recommend picking up the ones that are just battery operated because A, they're long enough, and B, you can easily hide this little battery pack, and then you're not worried about trying to hang cords through your ceiling and extension cords, and it gets tricky, right? This might be the hardest part, to be honest, because I got tangled the other night, is just wrapping them around nice and tightly, about every 2 inches or so. If you get to the end and you still have extra cord, just keep wrapping. Once they're all wrapped, I always suggest either using some fishing line or some ribbon like I hung here. I'd say do 2 or 3 or 5, which is what I did this year. I don't know if you know, at my house, Tracy, we're doing the 12 days of Christmas this year. So this is 5 golden rings.
I love
Now,
it.
I will say you don't want to see my 8 maids a milking. I mean, 8 agricultural engineers a milking. That's a whole different show. But just hang them up, enjoy them. You can turn them on and off. Perfect for the holiday season.
I love that. I love the beauty of it is that it can actually go anywhere, and it's super simple to make. Now, this next one is great as well. So let me tell the folks at home what they're going to need for the marquee light. So you need a 2x4 sheet of MDF, paint, 2 contrasting colors, a paintbrush or roller, some paper to make our letter templates, twinkle lights, and command light clips, as well as a drill. You need the drill. Okay, how do we make this one?
So this one's really quite simple. So you start with your MDF. You're going to write up your letters. Now, if you're really talented, you could write them out by hand. Mine mostly looks like serial killer chicken scratching. If yours is the same, I will give you a solution. So print them out at home, just on your home computer. Blow them up nice, big, the letters. I then cut them out so I get this kind of like Mary. Really easy, and then you can trace on it. Now, in theory, I should have tracing paper, but I don't. You probably don't either, but I'm going to show you a hack. Is you grab your pencil, and you're going to use the letter from the pencil and just cover the entire back of the letters all the way across, so it just looks like scratching, basically. And then when you lay it down on your board, and then all you're going to do is take your pencil and trace out every letter. You pull it off, you will see you get a pencil outline. Next, you may think it's about painting next, but it's really not about painting. It's about drilling. So you're going to grab your drill, and you're going to drill out all your letters. I would space out your lights about 2 inches apart, just so you've got enough lights per space, and then give it a light sanding. So we get merry and bright.
Oh, that looks so cool, Christian.
Right? So you've got your outlines. You can get the kids. It can be like paint by number. Just use some craft paint and a paintbrush to fill them in. Let it dry overnight. And then your last step is just to take standard white twinkle lights, insert them in through the back, and then you get a merry and bright.
Gorgeous and personal, Christian. You did such a good job. I love when the decor has a history or a story behind it, and you're really good at that.